channel. This is the first video I'm actually putting out, so it's something I've wanted to do for a long time, but I didn't really know how to go about it. So what I've decided to do is do a paint by number, and you can watch me paint, or you can paint along. Something that I like to do while I'm painting is actually listen to ASMR, and I find the two together make a really calming environment for me. I do listen to ASMR as well while sleeping, but I will be chatting with you during my paintings, so perhaps this could be a little bit of a calming exercise for you. So I just showed you that the thing that I'm going to be painting is just a paint by number, and it's a adult one that I picked up, and I'm starting with one color. It's a light blue, as you might see. Don't mind the mat that I'm on, because the thing is that it's my son's, so it's a bit messy, but it keeps it from getting onto my table. During my chat, where this is the first time I've ever done this, I'm going to be chatting about a few different things, I suppose. Not necessarily just the painting, but maybe life in general, stuff that maybe other people talk about or don't, I don't really know, but I just figured it'd be a bit of a chat, or a ramble, or what do you want to call it? What I am doing here is I'm just doing the outline of this area. That you can see here is a light blue. I'm going to do only light blue today. What I've decided for this painting is to just do one color per video. And I've noticed halfway through doing this video is that some of the colors that I've started doing are quite large, so I don't do the whole time, because sometimes it takes me over an hour to do them, so I do small parts, maybe half of the color that is required on the painting, and then I'll finish it off camera, and then the next time you see the painting, that color will be completely done. Sometimes I also find that the paint on this specific paint by number is really watery, really liquidy. You know, the viscosity is very light, so I find that I have to go back and do 2 to 3 coverings of color to make it so you don't see the lines or the numbers suggesting which color I have to use. I'm switching brushes here because the other one is far too small to be getting this coloring done, so I pick up a much bigger brush here. I've done many paint by numbers. This is just the newest one that I have, and it's really convenient because it's actually on a board. Most of the ones that I've done to date are on a canvas, and I don't have an easel, as you might be able to see. I just lay it flat. So I just, I found with the canvases it's easier to move around because you can kind of fold it over on itself, whatever, but this one's on a board, which will make it easier to, I guess, mount, but it also makes it much smaller. I don't know how many hours this one will take. I just finished another one for my niece. It was a beautiful one of a cat wearing a crown of flowers. It's absolutely beautiful. And I timed myself, and it took approximately 22 hours to do. And you could probably hear that. That's my fridge. I'm in the living room, and that's right next to my dining room and my kitchen, so I apologize for that. But yeah, it took me 22 hours, and over time, it wasn't like a weekend or a couple of days, like it was stretched over many weeks, because I have other obligations in my life. I have a child, a young child, so getting quiet time to actually paint is a rarity. So when I I do it. Sometimes my child will be playing or what have you, but this was once that I could do it. I step away for a second if you might be able to see. I'm just checking on my watch there. I'm trying to see on my watch to see if I can. There you go. You can actually see it on my watch. I'm watching myself record, so I'm ensuring that you can see what is necessary because I don't want to be moving around too much and you not seeing where I'm actually painting. So maybe that's a bit silly, or maybe I'm a bit nerdy, whatever it is, but I just wanted to make sure that you could see what you need to see. So yeah, I guess a little bit about me. I've been into ASMR for many years, and I guess like many of you out there, I didn't realize ASMR was a real thing. I've experienced the tingles since I was probably, 4 or 5 years old. I can remember my grandfather used to talk to me, and he had a very calming voice. And just the way he would talk to me would give me these crazy tingles down my spine and in the back of my head. I couldn't understand it. And as I grew up, I found that other things started to do that as well. My uncle actually also gave me those tingles. It's my grandfather's son. His voice also does it. My dad never got that trait, obviously, because he'd probably be the first one I mentioned, but I can remember being a kid and being like, wow, like, why is it that when my pop or my uncle speak, I get these weird tingles? And then I'd find myself just craving that feeling. So it wasn't until maybe 5 years ago, if that, I don't even know, maybe not even that long, that I found out what ASMR was. Yeah, actually, in retrospect, it's probably not that long. I remember that I used to go online, and I'd be watching videos, and if I found one specifically that made me have those tingles, I would kind of watch that person all the time. And then I can remember I was watching one on YouTube, and it was on a specific channel, and the channel was about ASMR, and I was like, what's ASMR? And here we are. I don't necessarily think that I have a wonderful skill set for ASMR, but I figured, you know what works for me may not work for somebody else, so maybe what I'm doing will work for somebody. I don't necessarily think that what I'm doing would work for me, but I know that some people like hand motions. I know some people like mouth sounds. I know some people like tapping and, there's different sounds, hair brushing, that sort of stuff. So maybe watching someone paint while they're talking is a big trigger for somebody. I don't know. So I said, you know what? I'll try it. I may never get any likes. I may never get any views. I don't know. This is the very first time I've done it. I just said to myself, you know what? If I want to try it, then try it. If not, then you don't ever know. Anyways, so yeah, that's my ASMR journey, I suppose we'll call it. I don't really know what will come of all of this. I am gonna try to do the entire painting in this kind of context. As I said, I may not do all of one color on screen because some of them are quite large. In this one, I have to I know that specifically with this one, I don't do the full color on screen because holy moly, is this a big color. I chose color number 50, which is a light blue, and I've I've sped it up here because I realized, holy moly, this, even with just doing the small part that I am doing on camera, it took a long time, and I didn't realize how long I was at it because I kind of get mesmerized in my own, I guess, ASMR while I'm listening to it and painting. I kind of get lost, and I'm so relaxed that I just keep going. And I think this one actually took me quite some time, so when I realized, holy moly, I've been doing this for quite some time, I need to stop the camera. And when I looked at the time, I think I had lots of it, so I had to speed it up so it wasn't like a super duper long video. Something you'll notice about this specific painting is that not only are there individual colors, like the big piece I'm painting now is number 50, obviously, but the one I'm circling is 17 over 50. So all I can imagine is that that color has to be a mix of the two paintings, or pardon me, the two paints. So it might be, I think 17, if my memory is serving me correctly, is actually a white. So if you, obviously if you mix that color with white, it's gonna be a much lighter blue. So that's just one of the things, and there are other ones that mix with darker colors, and anyways, I've never had a paint by number where you had to mix the colors. I've only ever had the ones that had every color that you needed, so I don't know necessarily how that's gonna turn out, because if you mix a color, if you don't mix enough and you need more, when you mix the next time you may not get the same color, and I hope that doesn't happen, but it may. I've decided I'm not actually going to do any mixing of the colors until that's the last thing on the painting to do. There are quite a few spots that require mixing, but I'm not going to do them until the end, so for the sake of arguments, I think there's like 53 over 56, so that's a color that has to be done. There's 17s over 50s, so I will do them individually, just like I'm doing 50 individually. These paint by numbers are super good in the sense of, like, they come with the paintbrushes, they come with the paint. Obviously they're numbered. I've had some cheaper ones that don't come with, really any paintbrushes or any paintbrush of quality where I would actually use it. I've got some from Dollarama, which is a store here in Canada. And they're only like $3 or $4, and they just come with the paint, I think. And if they did come with a paintbrush, it was like really coarse and really big. So I'm pretty sure I gave them to my child to play with because I wasn't going to use it, so I used my own paintbrushes. But the ones at the Dollarama were, it's almost like the colors they chose for the numbers didn't turn out to be what you would consider like the proper color. So, like, I know that I did I think it was a lion or a tiger, one of the cheaper ones I did, and it was just a burst of color, and it turned out really nice, surprisingly, but it wasn't what you would think. It was like this giant rainbow lion, which was absolutely beautiful, believe it or not. But then I did another one, and it was like a peacock, and it didn't turn out very nice. When I finished it, I was like, ick. I don't really like the colors. They were really, like, muted, and a lot of browns. It was like browns and beiges and pinks and purples. Like, it was, I can't really, it's not something I would show anybody because it was kind of awful. They had another one, and it just seemed like the colors were a bit off for what they chose. The more expensive ones that I bought them anywhere from, like I said, $4 or $5 at the Dollarama, to, this one came from an art supply store at the university here, because we have a fine arts program. So this was here. I mean, I don't expect a fine arts student to be doing this, but I guess it's just, it's at the bookstore here, so they sold it, and my partner works at the university, so my partner knows that I like doing this stuff, so this was picked up for my birthday. But the other ones I bought have been on like Amazon or just different online sites. And they, like I said, they range in price from about $4 to, I think the most expensive I spent on one was about $30, which is the one that I bought at Michael's. That's the cat wearing the crown of flowers. Very beautiful. She's gonna be 9 her birthday, and like she loves cats and she has cats. And I actually was going to buy it to let her do it, but after I did it, I was like, wow, thank God I did it, because I don't think she would have the patience for it. It took me 22 hours. So I don't think she would ever have the patience to sit down for 22 hours, and some of the spots were like really tiny. I really enjoyed doing it, but it took such a long time. But yeah, that one I bought at Michael's. That one was a really good quality. It came with like brackets for hanging it. It came with a really good quality brushes. And the thing I liked about at Michael's was that they had this, like, on the end cap where I was looking at these paintings, was like, oh, this is a weekend project, or this is like a several week project, and it was really nice. I don't think the cat one that I bought was actually listed as being any period of time, but it said like it had, I don't know, 10,000 places to paint, spots, which in paint by number is not really a lot of spots, or so I thought, because some of these spots were very tiny. Some spots were really big. Like this 50 is a very big spot. As you can see, it's completely connected. This is a bigger spot. But there were some spots where I cleaned my brush and I just dipped the very, very tip of it in color to just like dab, like a little tiny dab of color in certain spots. Like, I think one of them was in the cat's eye or on a whisker or something like that. But it was pretty intense. So you can see here, this is what I did for the day. I didn't want to keep going, but at the end of it, you can see those almost like rays. Those are actually going to be the same color, and I will show you in the next video what that looks like. I hope this is something that you really liked listening to and watching. If it is, please give me a like. I'm gonna try to do this whole series for this painting, so I'd love to see your comments if you have any suggestions. Like I said, this is the very first time I've done this, so any information is helpful, and hopefully